Okay, where are we at? Chapter 39, Atlas and Prometheus. Prometheus, the creator of mankind, whom some include among the seven Titans, was the son either of the Titan Eurymedon, or of Iapetus by the nymph Clymene. And his brothers were Epimetheus, Atlas, and Menoetius. B. Gigantic Atlas, eldest of the brothers, knew all the depths of the sea. He ruled over a kingdom with a precipitous coastline larger than Africa and Asia put together. This land of Atlantis lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules, and a chain of fruits-bearing islands separated it from a farther continent unconnected with ours. Atlas's people canalized and cultivated an enormous central plain fed by water from the hills which ringed it completely except for a seaward gap. They also built palaces, baths, racecourses, great harbor works, and temples, and carried war not only westwards as far as the other continent, but eastward as far as Egypt and Italy. The Egyptians say that Atlas was the son of Poseidon, whose 5 pairs of male twins all swore allegiance to their brother by the blood of a bull sacrificed at the pillar top, and that at first they were extremely virtuous, bearing with fortitude the burden of their great wealth in gold and silver. But one day greed and cruelty overcame them, and with Zeus's permission the Athenians defeated them single-handed and destroyed their power. At the same time, the gods sent a deluge, which in one day and one night overwhelmed all Atlantis, so that the harbor works and temples were buried beneath a waste of mud, and the sea became unnavigable. C. Atlas and Menoetius, who escaped, then joined Cronus and the Titans in their unsuccessful war against the Olympian gods. Zeus killed Menoetius with a thunderbolt and sent him down to Tartarus, but spared Atlas, whom he condemned to support heaven on his shoulders for all eternity. D. Atlas was the father of the Pleiades, the Hyads, and the Hesperides, and has held up the heavens ever since, except on one occasion where Hercules temporarily relieved him of the task. Some say that Perseus petrified Atlas into Mount Atlas by showing him the Gorgon's head, but they forgot that Perseus was reputedly a distant ancestor of Hercules. E. Prometheus, being wiser than Atlas, foresaw the issue of the rebellion against Cronus and therefore preferred to fight on Zeus's side, persuading Epimetheus to do the same. He was indeed the wisest of his race, and Athene, at whose birth from Zeus's head he had assisted, taught him architecture, astronomy, mathematics, navigation, medicine, metallurgy, and other useful arts, which he passed on to mankind. But Zeus, who had decided to extirpate the whole race of man and spared them only at Prometheus's urgent plea, grew angry at their increasing powers and talents. F. One day, when a dispute took place at Sicyon as to which portions of a sacrificial bull should be offered to the gods and which should be reserved for men, Prometheus was invited to act as arbiter. He therefore flayed and jointed a bull and sewed its hind to form 2 open-mouthed bags, filling these with what he had cut up. One bag contained all the flesh, but this he concealed beneath the stomach, which is the least tempting part of any animal, and the other contained the bones, hidden beneath a rich layer of fat. When he offered Zeus the choice of either, Zeus, easily deceived, chose the bag containing the bones and fat, which are still the divine portion, but punished Prometheus, who was laughing at him behind his back, by withholding fire from mankind. Let them eat their flesh raw, he cried. G. Prometheus at once went to Athene with a plea for a backstairs admittance to Olympus, and this she granted. On his arrival, he lighted a torch at the fiery chariot of the sun, and presently broke from it a fragment of glowing charcoal, which he thrust into the pithy hollow of a giant fennel stalk. Then, extinguishing his torch, he stole away undiscovered and gave fire to mankind. H. Zeus swore revenge. He ordered Hephaestus to make a clay woman and the four winds to breathe life into her, and all the goddesses of Olympus to adorn her. This woman, Pandora, the most beautiful ever created, Zeus sent as a gift to Epimetheus under Hermes' escort. But Epimetheus, having been warned by his brother to accept no gift from Zeus, respectfully excused himself. Now, even angrier than before, Zeus had Prometheus chained naked to a pillar in the Caucasus Mountains, where a greedy vulture tore at his liver all day, year in, year out, and there was no end to the pain, because every night, during which Prometheus was exposed to cruel frost and cold, his liver grew whole again. But Zeus, loath to confess that he had been vindictive, excused savagery by circulating a falsehood. Athene, he said, had invited Prometheus to Olympus for a secret love affair. J. Epimetheus, alarmed by his brother's fate, hastened to marry Pandora, whom Zeus had made as foolish, mischievous, and idle as she was beautiful, the first of a long line of such women. Presently, she opened a jar which Prometheus had warned Epimetheus to keep closed, and in which he had been at pains to imprison all the spites that might plague mankind, such as old age, labor, sickness, insanity, vice, and passion. Out these flew in a cloud, stung Epimetheus and Pandora in every part of their bodies, and then attacked the race of mortals. Delusive Hope, however, whom Prometheus had also shut in the jar, discouraged them by her lies from a general suicide. Hold on. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to do the footers tomorrow.